be on DJ LeMahieu? I would love to know. It is Carlin on this very, very special Tuesday night with you on 98.7 ESPN at 800 919 3776 800 919 ESPN. We will visit with Jordan Runnon, who will fill us in a little bit later on what Joe Judge was thinking and where we stand with Daniel Jones. I'm excited for that. That will be at 8 o'clock this evening. We will get into exactly what's going down with the Giants' mentality and how last night shows that they are absolutely screwed. We will get into the Mets and what are realistic expectations for this offseason, because if you're thinking really, really big, maybe you need to adjust that a little bit. But we start tonight with DJ LeMahieu. Once again, I'd encourage you to be a part of the show on the open lines at 800-919-3776 and on Twitter at Chris Carlin as well. So the Yankees are letting DJ LeMahieu go out and feel out the market. I did a lot of research today looking around to see what the various projected contracts are for LeMahieu, and they are anywhere from 3 for $54 million, which is low, to 4 for $80, to even 5 for $100. Now, the 5 for $100 is one that we have talked about quite a bit, and you think that somebody's going to get a little on the desperate end if they are going to offer him that much, whether that's the Blue Jays or let's just say it was the Mets if they didn't get George Springer. You feel like that number is on the outer end of what the Yankees are going to have to pay to bring him back. I get so troubled, and it's something that we have talked about ad nauseum, how the Yankees treat their own free agents versus free agents from the outside. And look, you don't necessarily have to take DJ LeMahieu out and wine and dine him all over town. He knows what this is about. But it would be nice if you could show the guy that there is a real interest in bringing him back. And the Yankees keep saying that, but as we have all learned over the years, words mean very, very little. Actions speak infinitely louder than words. So you start to think, well, maybe the Yankees know better than us. We give them the benefit of the doubt because, well, they're the Yankees. He's Brian Cashman. He's been doing this for a very long time, and they've got all the baseball people that are just geniuses behind the scenes who know exactly what they're doing. The analytics folks who are supposed to be able to identify what the great bargains are out on the market and turn them into gems. Basically, put that dirt into one of those sifters and sift out the gold. They've done it a couple of times. They've done it with Gio Urshela. They've done it with Luke Voigt. They've done it with Didi Gregorius in their past. You give them credit with the ability that they've shown to replace players and to get the best out of individuals that they bring in. But when it comes to the big-time free agent, they treat their own guys much differently than they treat the outside guys. Now, look, I get it. Is LeMahieu going to get the Garrett Cole treatment? Of course not. That's not going to happen because they're trying to convince Garrett Cole to come here in the first place. But consider what plan B might be. I don't know exactly what it is, but let's look at some possibilities. And if you can tell me where they are better off than with LeMahieu in one of these possibilities, you're better than I am. And I'll listen. I want to know what you think at 800-919-3776. I mean, do we really think it's going to be that easy to find the next LeMahieu? Is it that easy to bring somebody in who can 2 years in a row contend for the MVP legitimately and finish in the top 4 each year. You know, we all sit there and say, wow, what a great move they made 2 years ago in getting him. And the Mets kicking themselves by signing Jed Lowry as opposed to DJ LeMahieu. Well, we had David Sampson on last week, and he asked the question, if you had signed LeMahieu to a 2-year, $50 million contract, would you be feeling the same about him as you are right now, and about the last 2 years as you are right now? The answer is an emphatic yes. The price tag at the time would have raised an awful lot of eyebrows, but considering what they got, every Yankee fan would be screaming just as loud to bring him back. Everyone. Everyone. Because you got $25 million per year worth of production out of him the last 2 seasons. You did. So think about this for a second. Where do you turn for plan B? Well, you already had Brian Cashman come out last week and call Gleyber Torres fat, and that he'd be better off as a second baseman. So that means you need a shortstop, right? If you're not going to bring LeMahieu back to play second or first, or even third in an instance where Urshela got moved in a trade or something along those lines, if you're not going to do that, you're talking about bringing in somebody who needs to be a replacement at shortstop. Because clearly, the team benefits the most by moving Torres back to second. He's not a shortstop. Even though they can call him serviceable, he's not a shortstop. So what are we talking about? Are the Yankees then going to invest a lot of money in Marcus Semien versus LeMahieu? I mean, Marcus Semien's a terrific player, don't get me wrong. But how would you feel about Marcus Semien getting a 4-year deal at 30 years old versus LeMahieu at 32? And Semien getting, 4 years and $75 million or whatever that number would be. Would you feel okay about that? Look, Semien's a good player. Is he LeMahieu? He is not. He is not. Do you want to go out and add an Andrelton Simmons for a year and bring in the defense? Do you want to go try to make something work with Freddie Galvis for a year? Does that excite you? It really doesn't. You want to play Tyler Wade every day? No, of course not. You want to bring Didi back? Well, I don't think that's likely. That's not remotely likely. You want to be able to rely on Luke Voit to do exactly what he did this past season? Do you think that's the prudent play in all of this? The answer is no, of course not. You wouldn't ask Luke Voit to be that same guy again, or not ask, but expect. Because that's why when you have a player at 29 years old who finally blossoms, you get rid of him. Because that blossom can come off the rose, that bloom can come off the rose pretty damn quick. He could turn back into a pumpkin. So with all that being said, I look around at plan Bs. You want to wait until next year and go spend a fortune on a shortstop on Trevor Story in the offseason? I'll tell you, it's a head shaker when you look at what the possibilities are. You can maximize a return for Voit right now. I still want to believe this is going to get done, but I'm a lot more skeptical than other people are. I really am. Because the longer the Yankees slow play it, and I get it, they don't want to set the market and bid against themselves and all that crap, the more it's likely to annoy LeMahieu. Wouldn't you think? I mean, he's a level-headed guy. But wouldn't you believe that if they really took their time on this and let everybody else make their offers and let LeMahieu come back, and that number's 5 at 100, that they wouldn't have benefited by being more aggressive earlier and saying, hey, DJ, you know what? We'll go 4 for 80 right now. How about that? You know, maybe that would have gotten done if you're more aggressive in that department. That's why sitting and waiting on the special player is not necessarily the best way to go. And let's be clear about something right now. DJ LeMahieu is more important to the Yankees than Garrett Cole. Let me repeat that. DJ LeMahieu is more important to the Yankees and their success than Garrett Cole. 800-919-3776, Twitter at Chris Carlin. By all means, fire away there. Live stream up and running on ESPN New York 98.7's Twitter handle and on ESPN New York's Facebook page. You can comment over there. We will bring the comments into the conversation, the tweets as well. It's all about you. We're just getting started. Let's get some baseball cooking on 98.7 ESPN.
Quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
You're down, Chris.
Diamonds.
All right.
Okay, the
Phone lines are lighting up.
gift, but you're not sure
All right,
where to
so
start.
where is the
Believe me, I've been there. So here's the game
screener?
plan. Get to Hellsberg Diamonds, where they have stunning jewelry
Same
at
as
great prices and all the no-pressure advice.
Yeah, same as yesterday. Wait, hold on.
Now get out there and win the holidays.
Right now, get a free
Jacob's sending you the link right now.
I'm sending
Okay.
it now, Chris.
$100 or more. Limited time offer while supplies last.
How you doing?
Or for details.
Okay, Jacob.
Get
how
your
you
ice
doing?
cold Bud Lights up. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now, hip. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com.
How's the crew out there on the stream tonight?
Coming at you.
We got
It's a little
John
short.
Piccini. What's up, brother? Good to see you.
You know what?
Mikey Jr., Michael K can play short. Yeah, probably not. DiPietro can play short. True story. DiPietro tore ligaments in my thumb playing short while I was playing first.
Have come together to fight COVID-19. What's next? To keep reducing the spread,
Do I think a deal is in place and they purposely stall it? I do not think that's the case.
Because regular testing can identify infection sooner and help prevent spreading the virus to family, friends, neighbors, and coworkers. Testing is safe, confidential, and at no cost to you. To find a testing site near you, visit nyc.gov/COVID-test or call the NYC Test and Trace Corps hotline at 212-COVID-19. Get tested today.
Listen up, New York. Michelle Scalisi here with Security Dodge. And our Big Finish sales event is on. Employee pricing on most of our new 2021 Jeep and Ram lineup, plus 0% for 72 months with no payments for 90 days on most of our leftover new 2020 models. With these incentives, the time to buy is now. Visit our website for complete program details and the absolute best selection.
What do you got, people? Fire away on the stream.
www.securitydodge.com.
Fire out a
It's
tweet.
time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Assurion.com/straighttalk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
I saved big money with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, so I finally bought that new set of golf clubs. Watch out, fairway. Here I come.
This is not a real testimonial. Sure, customers can save big with Progressive, but your other expenses won't just disappear. Are those clubs going to help you when the hot water heater dies? Also, it sounds like your money is better spent on golf lessons.
Time to go shoot the course record.
No, but maybe time for a reality check. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
It's getting cold out there, which means that special time is upon us when the New York Lottery releases their seasonal scratch-off games. This year, we have 4 new tickets that make the perfect gift, including Wintergreen Cashword and Snow Me the Money, which even has a little section where you can write who it's for, making it a gift and a gift tag. The seasonal scratch-off games from the New York Lottery, available now. You must be 18 years or older to purchase a lottery ticket. Please gift responsibly.
With a world-class whiskey distillery in the
Snooze.
ski capital of
Back in 30, Chris.
Okay.
to sponsor the U.S.
The dog
ski
just came
snowboard
in
team
here.
and is Utah's first legal distillery since 1870. They know what it means to go off the beaten path. Pick up
Hello.
some trail-breaking campfire setting whiskey from the West and taste for yourself. Each bottle is thoughtfully sourced, deliciously blended, and proudly made for whiskey lovers like you. Sip responsibly. Whiskey 40 to 50% alcohol by volume. High West Distillery, Park City, Utah.
Mike's hot.
I'm a little out of shape. The dog just came in the room, and I had to lift her out. She's only 40 pounds, for Pete's sake. 800-919-3776. 800-919. ESPN. We're getting started on the phones, on LeMahieu, on the Mets. We'll get to some of that in just a little bit. We will also discuss the Giants coming up at 8 o'clock tonight with our buddy Jordan Renan. Let us begin with Spike in New Jersey. Hello, Spike. How are you, bud?
Hey, there's my guy. Couple of quick things. Been busy lately. Miss talking to you. Number one, your call on the Rutgers game was brilliant, but Shiano's poster took you out, and I'm sure you're good with that. What a great
Shiano's
game,
what?
man. What a great game. Oh, beautiful football. Now, I got a bad beat story I tweeted you about. I was going to tell it to Michael, but the phone's crapped out. It sounded like I got shot on the air. It was pretty funny stuff. But you know how gremlins are on talk radio. So last night's safety was a bad beat if you laid the 3.5.
Yeah, horrible.
Right. Well, here's my story. 99 Mets Braves, Game 5. The Ventura Grand Slam single.
Yes, sir.
I had a dime on it over.
What was the number?
7.5. It wound up 4-3. That's a bad beat.
Oof.
I
mean, you couldn't
I said, which one was worse? He says, well, the Mets Braves game's worse because that's a one that can't happen again. It was a rules infraction.
Yeah.
I mean, I said, couldn't he pull a Chambliss and knock the guy over?
That's rough. You know? That's a rough way to go.
Who started that game for the Mets? I can't. Some Japanese pitcher.
God.
Right?
Was it Masato Yoshi?
Yeah, Yoshi, right. And Maddox, I thought he'd go over because they were hitting Maddox. That was the next game. That was torture for the Mets. But anyway, I wanted to just say hello. And man, I am so psyched on Rutgers. They are playing such inspired ball, but the humanity of Shiano, it's worth every dime they're paying that guy. I know you know him for a long time and you're close with him, but what a wonderful lesson. That presser, man, they got to show that to people who have their priorities a little mixed up. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, listen, I'm not going to try and hide any sort of bias. I clearly have a bias toward Rutgers. There's no getting around that. And thanks for the call, Spike. I'll never try to tell you otherwise. Now, there have been times in the past where I have knocked the administration for the way things have been handled. You know, how the whole Mike Rice stuff went down, not necessarily with Mike, but with Tim Pernetti. The president a few years ago, when Julie Harmon was the athletic director a few years ago, there was a lot of things that were bad. And yeah, I got on them at the time. But generally speaking, yes, I'll fully admit to a 100% bias toward them. And I would honestly say it's just enjoyable to get to watch a lot of the kids that have gone through a lot of bad football and what's happened over the last few years. Listen, coaches do the absolute best that they can, and for one reason or another, things don't work out. I like Chris Ash a lot personally. Got along with him great. Good dude. And I would just say that New Jersey, as I've said before, makes it tough. And Greg, having done it before and having been in a much different period in his life now, I think just really connects with his kids in a new way, having been a parent and having gone through recruiting and all that stuff. I think there's a lot to be said for the way that has played out. And I think it's been impressive to watch so far. And I'm excited. You know, Friday's game got moved from 4 o'clock to 7:30. And, you know, if they beat Nebraska, I don't know if they would go to a bowl or not, depending on all kinds of logistics. Even if they were invited to one, I'm not sure that they would. I'm not privy to those conversations. But it's a hell of a story. It's a hell of a story in college football. And I will say this. There's been a lot over the last 7 or 8 years. And frankly, over my 20 years there. I'm keeping receipts. And I'm coming after every one of you. Because I got them all written down. When they get there, I'm coming after every one of you. That's not a threat. That's a promise. Teddy in Belford next, 98.7 ESPN. Teddy, what's up, bud?
What's going on, man? Congrats on Rutgers. My sister graduated Rutgers. It's pretty impressive what they've been able to turn around there.
It's been good, and basketball's been terrific, too.
Comments about DJ LeMahieu here. I'm a Met fan, diehard Met fan, and although DJ wouldn't fit on the Mets with, you know, the log jam that we have in the infield, I would love to have him. But what Yankee fans understand, I think, and what the Yankees themselves, what Brian Cashman doesn't respect, is that, you know, DJ's a glue guy. Without him over the last 2 years, do the Yankees survive the injuries that they've taken on?
No,
Judge going
especially
down,
not in 2019.
going down.
No, especially not in 2019.
And as you look at the team, I mean, look at DJ, and I know he's old. I know, you know, analytics are going to say that in 2 to 3 years his numbers are going to drop. But the guy's an MVP candidate. And, you know, although his numbers will drop because he is going to get older, his body type is not Stanton. It's not Judge. It's not these new players that have these ridiculous bodies that aren't built for 162 games. And if you look at his rap sheet, he doesn't miss games. He might miss 4 or 5 here and there, but he's getting in 140, 150. He's not chronically injured, and that's something that the Yankees need in their lineup. You know, as a Met fan that would love to take over this city, the first thing that we could do to help that is take DJ LeMahieu and put him in orange and blue.
Appreciate the call. Thanks for checking in. Here's the problem with it, okay? If you want to do that and you're the Mets, that's the biggest thing that you're doing. You're not going to go and get Springer, too. You're not going to go and get Bauer, too. And we'll get into more of that in just a little bit. We talked about it at length last night, but it bears repeating tonight that when you look at how you had Jared Porter handle his news conference, and you look at the history of who he's been with and who Sandy Alderson has been with, and the fact that they have continually said, we're not going to spend like drunken sailors. Well, they have improved at catcher. I think they're going to go get one big guy, and that guy to me will be Springer, and it should be Springer. But beyond that, it's going to be depth in the rotation and in the bullpen. 800-919-3776. Mike is in West New York next, 98.7 ESPN. Michael, what's up, bud?
Hey, what's going on, Chris?
You know.
I just want to comment on LeMahieu. I mean, let me just start off by saying I love LeMahieu as a Yankee. I think he brings an important element to the Yankees. Obviously, you know, I think 5 years, $100 million is a fair offer for LeMahieu. I mean, if it's between 4 years and 5 years, and I have to give him that extra year, I'm gonna give it to LeMahieu. I'm not gonna, you know, hold back on a year. LeMahieu's a guy that we need right now. Like I said, he's an important element. So I think $100 million 5 years is a fair offer. What do you think, Chris?
Listen, I'm fine with it. I honestly am, and I get that the Yankees are not. They're not comfortable with it yet because they don't want to be bidding against themselves. If that number comes, I don't think they're going to match it. I'd be surprised if they did. Now, will that number come? You know, it's possible. There were some people who said don't rule out the Dodgers on LeMahieu. And you know if the Dodgers come, they're coming with the big money. You know, I personally would say
LeMahieu. I mean, it would probably be more. It would be better for LeMahieu if he stayed with the Yankees. I mean, with endorsements and everything. I mean, if you're gonna for an extra $5 or $6 million a year from the Dodgers, I don't think LeMahieu's gonna want to leave New York. So I think the Yankees, if they're aggressive enough, I think they could easily get LeMahieu. I mean, I don't think they have to break bank to get him, but if they put up a fair number, I think LeMahieu respectably is going to accept that.
See, that's where I think they're going to run into a problem. And thanks for the call, Mike. I do not, if I'm the Yankees, want to be in the position where I waited and wanted to let the market play out, as opposed to play a little bit more of an aggressive role. Because if I play an aggressive role, maybe I would have gotten him for 4 for $80. Maybe that would have happened. But if he comes back and that 5 for $100's on the table, yeah, he may not want to go to Toronto. But I guarantee you, if we're talking about 5 for $100 versus 3 and a vesting option to get him to 80, there's not going to be a discussion. He's going to go take more money. That's what players do. You're not going to leave that much money on the table. You know, if his wife loves New York, sure, that's important. But his wife can add. You don't have to be an economics major to figure out that $100 million is more than 75 or 80. And considerably more. 800-919-3776. That slight aggression at the beginning, I honestly think would have benefited them. But that's not how they want to play it. So maybe they get him at his price. They could come out of this looking very, very smart. Maybe they get him at their price. They could come out looking very, very smart. But if they don't, I just want to know what plan B is, because I don't think you can always assume that you have all the answers when you're talking about a player that has been on a special level when it comes to your organization. Like, these guys in particular don't come along every day. Let me give you an example. Mark Teixeira was a terrific player. Tino Martinez was a terrific player. Do you think that Mark Teixeira or Tino Martinez had a year that truly matched up with what LeMahieu has done, especially in the clutch? You can point to individual numbers. You can point to Tino hitting 40 home runs. You can point to Teixeira with what he did. They're great players. But in terms of everything that you do as a New York Yankee, have you ever seen a guy that has been brought in from the outside that has fit like this? The answer is no. And if you try to say otherwise, you're lying to yourself. 7:30, it's Carlin. 800-919-3776 on Twitter, at Chris Carlin. The video stream up as well, 98.7 ESPN New York's Twitter handle, as well as ESPN New York's Facebook page. Giants talk on the way in a bit. Jordan Raanan will join us to give us the very latest when it comes to Daniel Jones, Joe Judge, and if the Giants are winning the division. Carlin at 7:31.
The season of inspiration.
You're down, Chris. You have a live read coming up.
East Brunswick and Open Road.
you happen to need a replacement, they've got reliable batteries starting at just $79.99. And they're the only place you can find proven tough Duralast batteries. So next time you're having battery trouble, head to AutoZone, your battery solution and America's #1 battery destination.
Mike's hot.
Some of the tweets, it's amazing. On a topic like this, it really goes right down the middle. Right down the middle. Ben Hort, all Yankee fans like LeMahieu and want him back, but he's not more important than Cole. If they got a young star shortstop like Lindor and move Torres to second base, it would not be bad. Duh. If you got a star like Lindor and move Torres to second base, it would not be bad. Of course it wouldn't be bad. The Yankees are not going to, as plan B, turn and trade for Francisco Lindor. That's not happening, guys. Lindor is not going to be wearing pinstripes next year. No shot. No shot. Chesterfield, 914 over on Twitter. LeMahieu needs to be signed, no question. More important than Cole? Sorry, he's not. The everyday player is more important than the ace starter. The ace starter is incredibly important, don't get me wrong, especially the way the Yankees have structured things now as poorly as they have with their rotation. Right now, it's Garrett Cole and 4 days of praying for rain. But when you now have a guy like LeMahieu, who has proven time and again what he's worth and has carried you through times where everyone was on the DL, then I'm sorry. You have to recognize the everyday player's more important. Others on Twitter checking in. Mike Medvin simply asking, what? Yeah, no, it's true, Mike. There's no evidence or rumors. This is from Forever Shinin'. There's no evidence or rumors that it's legit to say the Yankees are only offering 3 years with a vesting option. You must not listen to Jack Curry or the team on the Yankees hot stove. And again, plan B is Lindor in the trade. Now, I actually did watch Jack and the entire crew last night. I value Jack Curry's information above basically everybody. Michael is right there with him. And the Yes crew. I think Jack does an absolutely amazing job. The point is this. I threw the vesting option out, 3 years of the vesting option, as like a Yankee possibility right now because they don't want to go 4 years on him. But don't automatically assume that plan B is going and getting Francisco Lindor, guys. This is not 1989. Luke Voigt's bad foot checking in on Twitter. Idiotic take. Way to back it up. DJ is not more important to their success. Sorry, Chris Carlin. John Mortuccio. John, you're wrong. You're wrong. He is. He is more important to their everyday success. 800-919-3776. We return to the phones with Jeff in Merrick on 98.7 ESPN. Jeffrey, what's cooking, bud?
Hey, not much, man. Just intrigued on this LeMahieu conversation. I know you were saying nothing about the Lindor, but how about trading Gleyber Torres for Lindor and keeping LeMahieu?
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't trade Gleyber Torres for Lindor because you're going to have to turn around and pay Lindor a fortune. And Gleyber Torres has had one misstep here in terms of his weight, and the Yankees went out of their way to shame him last week. They're not giving up on Gleyber Torres. In fact, I think they want to make sure that Gleyber Torres is going to be the guy for the long haul over Aaron Judge.
Well, like you said, he hasn't proven that, and the fact that he's young, who knows what, where his mindset is.
Look, it's still hard to tell where his mindset is, and that is alarming. It is alarming, and thanks for the call. Off a year where Gleyber Torres hit 38 home runs. You have to be better than showing up in terrible shape in not the first, but the second spring training. Roscoe's over in Brooklyn. Next, 98.7 ESPN. Roscoe, what do you got?
Chris, what's alarming is that you're a radio guy, right? So you should know a little bit about negotiations. First of all, the deal that LeMahieu puts on the table to the New York Yankees, why don't he, as an owner, go put it out there on another table. If you get that offer, then we will go ahead and match it. But why would we compete against ourselves when no one else has put an offer out there?
No, I understand that. I understand that. But what did the Yankees... Let me ask you this, though. Did the Yankees go and put an offer in front of Garrett Cole last year? They did, and then when somebody else came close, they gave him the 9th year. They were aggressive in going after him. Why wouldn't you be as aggressive in going after somebody that finished in the top 4 in the MVP voting each of the last 2 years for you?
That's wonderful. And hear me out. That last year was a contract year.
Stop. You think DJ LeMahieu played the way he did because it was a contract year? How do you explain year 1 when he was borderline better?
But hear me out, though. Hear me out. On a contract year, everyone busts their ass, don't they? Yes or no?
Yes, but did DJ bust his ass in year 1?
Nobody even knew about DJ LeMahieu.
Did he almost win the MVP in year 1? Did he carry the Yankees when everybody else was hurt in year 1? The answer is yes.
Chris, this is why you got fired from WFAN. Because you don't listen. This is why you got fired.
No, it's not. No, it's not. We got great ratings at WFAN, and I got fired at WFAN because I was making money, and they were cutting money. That's how it happens.
Cole, you're saying that Cole is not better. It's not better than DJ LeMahieu. First of all, Cole is their number 1 ace in the league.
Yeah, he is.
Why wouldn't he be more important than DJ?
Because he pitches once every 5 days, and DJ LeMahieu plays every day. Thanks for the call. That's all there is to it. DJ LeMahieu plays every day. And I got fired from FAN because they were cutting salary. That's basically it. Want to go back and look at the ratings? We can show them to you. I'm happy to do it. Top 3. Every time we got slid in, after we got slid out into the 1 to 3 spot. Got a 4-month period. That's it. Stop. 800-919-3776. How about Rob in Astoria quickly? Rob, what's going on?
Chris, I know that this is a little off topic, but I was hoping to talk to you about your locks of incompetence because I had another idea that I thought that you might be into. You might think it was funny.
Okay.
Because I know you don't care about the teams and how good they are. Really don't look into the matchups. You go by a random fact from the city.
Correct.
I was thinking what would be cool if you found matchups where you took the team's mascot, like let's say Vikings versus Panthers or something like that. And you were like, if a Viking fought a Panther in real life, who would win? And like determine it like that. I thought that would be that. I just thought that was.
That's an excellent point because I am constantly asking guests the question when we do 5 questions at the end of the lightning round at the end of the guest segment sometimes. My last question is always, who would win a fight between a bear and a shark? Who do you think would win a fight between a bear and a shark?
Well, it depends. Is the fight on land or in water?
Neutral site in space.
In space. I have heard this question before, potentially even posed by you.
Probably so.
Too hard to answer. It really is.
Wow.
Both bring such great qualities to the table.
Appreciate that. You know what, Rob? I'm going with your way this week. That's what I'm doing.
Let's do it.
We're doing it on Thursday night. Be there. Bang. That's how open I am to suggestions. 745, Carlin, 98.7 ESPN, 800-919-3776. More on why I got fired and on DJ LeMahieu next.
It's the New Jersey Lottery Scratch-Off.
You're down, Chris.
Scratch-offs are perfect gifts, a chance to win it big. Everyone loves scratch-offs, even Cousin Zig. Unwrap with a scratch. Last gifts, they're a match.
Over $72 million in cash prizes for short, tall, friends of all sizes. Holiday scratch-offs from the New Jersey Lottery.
Anything can happen in Jersey.
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parents are urged to think twice about gifting lottery tickets to children.
This holiday season, give the gift of Spectrum Mobile.
Get our Buy the Gig data plan plus a new Samsung smartphone for as little as $19 per month, or choose our unlimited data plan. Spectrum Mobile gives you the flexibility to mix and match plans to meet your
People on
family's
the
needs.
stream, what do we got? We got some good ones here. Steve Janoski. You're my favorite host from the fan. Well, you know, I'm here now. Of course, everyday player is more important than a pitcher. Yes. Finn Gregory, a bear, easily. In neutral zone, in neutral site, easily. Is it because of the hands? I want to know why. I want reasons. Michael Hoff, our buddy Michael. DJ is incredibly necessary for the Yankees. Too much unrealistic work to be done if they don't. I think he is very, very important to their success. John Piccini. Johnny, not happy if there's no DH in the NL this season. I like having Alonzo Smith and Davis in the lineup every day. Well, it lengthens it, no doubt, and this is what I'm going to talk about with the Mets with depth, right? It's the idea that when you have guys like Brandon Nimmo and J.D. Davis who are not necessarily playing every day, if you don't have the universal DH, then you are a much better team for that. You are a much better team. And the one thing the Mets haven't had is depth at the bottom of their roster. Took my COVID test. The lab has received my sample. Get tested twice a week. And tested negative last night. So keep it going, hopefully.
Planning to get engaged this holiday season? The highly trained staff at 2 by London, the engagement shop at London Jewelers, has the experience and knowledge to help you select or
yes, reach from the bear gives it the advantage. I got you.
Commitment is getting it just right, and they'll work with you every step of the way to provide a truly customized and safe experience. Shop online or make an appointment at 2bylondon.com or visit 2 by London, the engagement shop at London Jewelers, and mention ESPN at the Americana Manhasset, East Hampton, and Westfield World Trade Center. Hey, it's Michael K. Tune in for my show Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
All right, guys.
Visit geico.com today. See how much you could save.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first...
I'm going to play something in the middle of the music. So just when you're coming out with the music, you can play it just on a little bit lower level.
Okay. Available at AutoZone and AutoZone.com.
It's time for some straight.
And we're back after this in 25.
All right.
It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
It's Carlin.
And let me just say what nobody else wants to say. What? Your looks have become a problem.
On 98.7 ESPN.
750-800-919-3776. Our buddy Joe is in Colonia. He is next on 98.7 ESPN. Joe, what's up, baby?
Hey, you know what, Chris? I called originally to say hello. I hope you're doing well and your family's doing well. And I still want to ask you that. If everyone's doing well.
Everybody's great, Joe. Thanks. I appreciate that. You doing okay?
I'm doing fine, thank you. But the last caller, when they said you got fired from the fan, is BS.
That's okay.
You know what?
It happened.
No, it's not. Because well, whatever it was, the best thing that happened was that you left the fan. There was
I didn't leave on my terms. My contract was coming to an end at the end of last year, and they let me go 3 months early because they were, or 4 months early because they were going in a different direction and they wanted to save some money. And listen, that's the way things are these days. I'm by far not the only person who's been through it, and
I know that, but you say different direction, they were scared.
Of what?
And the reason I say that because there was the big mouth that used to work with Mad Dog that was scared of you.
He wasn't scared of me.
I think the best thing that ever happened
Trust
to
me
you
when I tell you he wasn't
went
scared
over-
of me. That had nothing to do with it. It had more to do with the fact it's a financial decision.
Okay.
I appreciate it, Joe, but that wasn't a reason.
No, hold on. I just want to say the best thing that ever happened to you is where you are now. You found a home, and you're awesome. I've been listening to you for years, and just keep on doing what you're doing. That's all I wanted to say.
Very nice of you to say that, Joe. I'm good. We're all good. Listen, getting fired sucks. I don't have to tell you that. I mean, I admittedly, first time I ever went through it, remarkably disappointed by it. But I'm in a great spot. I love it here. I absolutely love it here. And it's been terrific. And the folks in Bristol have been good to me as well. You know, doing national shows, excited by that. I got a couple of bowl games coming up. I'm doing the Boca Raton Bowl next week on the radio with Mike Golick Jr. I'm doing the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I'm excited to do some bowl games, you know? Ended up in a great situation. Liam, Stony Brook, next, 98.7 ESPN. Liam, what's going on?
What's up, Carlin? Just piggybacking off the last caller. So happy to have you on ESPN right now. And I can't wait for this Overtime Bowl with you and Golick Jr. on the call. Just going into LeMahieu real quick.
Yeah.
I think the last caller who said, they should trade Lindor for Torres, I don't know why you would give up the control of Torres, especially when you have to pay Lindor the money. And I do get LeMahieu is, above 30, but it doesn't make any sense as why you would do that. And also, he said that no one knew who LeMahieu was. He must have not been watching Colorado baseball for the last 5-6 years.
Hey, look, he won a batting title, but is it fair to say, Liam, that to say that DJ LeMahieu
he hung up
really blossomed at this point with the Yankees? I mean, he took it to a whole nother level. Is that fair to say? I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, this is a guy that stepped in and did an amazing job with this team. An amazing job with this team. He carried them when everybody was getting hurt. Carried them. Kyle and Tom's River next, 98.7 ESPN. Kyle, go.
Hey, Chris, love the show.
Thank you, Kyle. I love you.
To chime in on the DJ LeMahieu talk from one of the previous callers.
Kyle, I told you I loved you. I don't get a return I love you. I mean, that's a big thing hanging out there between us.
Hey, man, I love you too.
Okay, thanks. Because otherwise, you know how that can be. That can get dicey.
It could get a little spicy. So I just want to say that I think DJ is just as important as Cole. He's playing almost every day. He carried the team. I think they should just give him the money, honestly. And then, that's about it. I hope you have a good night. Enjoy
Appreciate it. Thank you. Look, in the end, I'm hopeful, but I'm not as optimistic as other people are. I'm not. I understand he wants to be here. But for some reason, I continue to have this feeling that he's going to get that one offer that's going to make it awfully difficult, at least in their minds, to match. And if he does, and he's gone, trust me when I tell you, ain't no sunshine. This guy he's on a whole nother Yankee level. And you need to recognize that. It's not just about being Aaron Judge and hitting the ball 600 feet. It's about coming through in clutch situations at remarkable success rates. It's about being as versatile as he is. It's about being the leader that he is. All the intangibles, all the things that can't be measured by the analytics, by those dorks down in the basement. Oh, sir, listen, let's be honest. You have to try to numerize what it means to have intangibles. You can't exactly do it. I don't even know what that was. That wasn't even a good dork impression. That was freaking awful. Speaking of which, Here he is. Good evening, Richard.
Hi, Chris. Chris, let me play devil's advocate now. The Yankees, including the playoffs last year, finished how many games above 500?
Yankees, including the playoffs last year, what? What was the final number, Richard?
How many games above 500 did they finish?
What? 2, 3, 5, 8, 12, 28?
All right. I'm playing devil's 3 or 4, 5 maybe at most, including the playoffs.
Because we know how up and down of a year it was.
Kind of 70 years ago, right? Branch Rickey told him. He said, we finished last with you, and we can finish last without you. Well, I think they can finish 4 games ahead of 500 this year without DJ LeMahieu. I'm not saying they shouldn't sign him, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, you can keep playing it. You're still wrong. Go ahead. What's next?
Chris, here's the next point. If Joe Judge starts Colt McCoy on Sunday, that means, in my opinion, that he knows he made a mistake. He's trying to rectify the mistake. Now, after the game, he's not going to say, I realize I made a mistake. He'll say, Jones probably injured himself during the game last week, so I couldn't start him this week.
No, he's not going to admit it. And thanks for the call, Richard. I'm a little short on time tonight. He's not going to admit it, but if he does, in fact, start him this week, then, yeah, that's exactly what that's saying. We will discuss that all with Jordan Run on next.
Your home is your castle.